Two men buy a yacht on the same day, same marina, same broker, same handshake. One buys a $4 million yacht and feels like the smartest person alive. The other buys a $4 million yacht and feels like the smartest person alive. 12 months later, one of them is on the water every weekend. The other is on the phone with his accountant trying to understand why a $4 million purchase is sending him invoices that look like a second mortgage. Same boat, same price, completely different outcomes. And the difference between them is not the yacht. It is what the yacht revealed about whether they understood what they were actually buying. Because a yacht at every level of the market is two things simultaneously. It is the thing you see in the photographs, and it is the thing that exists in the spreadsheet 12 months after the photographs were taken. Most people fall in love with the first thing. The second thing introduces itself later. Today, I am breaking down the 7 levels of Billionaire Yachts, not the brochure version, the version that includes the spreadsheet, from the entry point where the lifestyle begins to the floating sovereign territory where the spreadsheet has more employees than most companies. Let's get into it. Level 1, the entry luxury yacht, 50 to 80 feet. This is where the word yacht first earns its meaning and where the luxury lifestyle on the water genuinely begins. Azimuth, Sunseeker, Ferretti. New builds at this size run $1.5 to $4 million. These are the brands that built the market for serious recreational boating and that continue to define what entry luxury on the water looks like. A 65-foot yacht in this category has a master cabin that would not embarrass a boutique hotel, a saloon designed for entertaining, a flybridge for open water cruising with a view that no property on land can replicate at this price point. 2 or 3 guest cabins, a galley equipped for a chef who knows what they are doing, and a platform at the stern that puts you at water level in a way that makes every body of water feel personal. The man who buys his first serious yacht at this level has been thinking about this moment for years. He has done his research. He has chartered similar boats on holiday. He knows the brands. He knows the sizes. He knows the approximate cost. He does not fully know the running costs yet because the running costs are the thing you learn after you own one rather than before. Annual running costs at this size land between $150,000 and $350,000 before he has taken the boat out of the marina once. Crew of 2 or 3. Insurance, docking, maintenance, fuel. The Italian word for boat is barca. The Italian expression for the 2 best days of a boat owner's life is the day he buys it and the day he sells it. He will learn why this expression exists within the first year. Some men sell. The ones who don't become the men at level 2. Level 2, the mid-range yacht, 80 to 120 feet. This is where the yacht stops being a large recreational boat and starts becoming a serious vessel with serious infrastructure requirements. Azimuth Grande, Sunseeker Manhattan, Princess Y, Benetti entry range. New builds run $4 to $12 million. The step from level 1 to level 2 is not a step in size. It is a step in category. At this size, the yacht requires a professional captain. Not a captain you hire for the weekend. A full-time captain on a salary with a contract and benefits who knows the vessel, manages the crew, oversees the maintenance, and is legally responsible for the safety of everyone on board. The crew grows to 4 or 5 people. The running costs climb to $400,000 to $800,000 per year. The yacht now has a tender, a smaller boat stored on the deck or in the garage, used to transfer passengers from the anchored yacht to shore. The tender costs $80,000 to $200,000 and has its own maintenance schedule. The man at level 2 has made peace with the running costs because he has done what the smart level 2 owners do. He has put the yacht into a charter program. A well-managed 100-foot yacht in the Mediterranean charges $40,000 to $80,000 per week during peak season. 12 weeks of charter covers a significant portion of his annual running costs. His accountant still does not love the yacht. His accountant has stopped actively opposing it. This is progress. Level 3, the superyacht threshold, 120 to 160 feet. This is where the industry changes its vocabulary and where the word superyacht first applies without qualification. San Lorenzo, Benetti, he's an entry range. Lursen entry range. New builds run $10 to $25 million. The interior at this size stops being designed for function and starts being designed for experience. A full beam master suite stretching the entire width of the hull, a formal dining room that seats 12, a beach club at waterline level where the stern opens and the sea becomes an extension of the living space, a spa, an outdoor cinema, a gym. At this level, the yacht has a full-time crew of 8 to 12 living aboard year-round whether the owner is present or not. Running costs climb to $1 to $2.5 million per year. The owner at level 3 has crossed a threshold that changes how he thinks about the boat. Below this threshold, the yacht was something he used. Above it, the yacht is something that runs continuously, and he visits it. The distinction is significant. The crew maintains the vessel, the schedule, and the standard at all times. When he arrives, everything is ready. When he leaves, nothing stops. The boat does not wait for him. It continues. This is the first level at which the yacht begins to resemble a small business more than a recreational vehicle. Running, it requires management. The owner who manages it well keeps the yacht. The owner who ignores the management loses money faster than he understood was possible. Level 4, the serious Superyacht, 160 to 200 feet. This is where the yacht becomes a private estate that moves and where the owner's experience is entirely insulated from the machinery that makes it possible. Fed ship mid-range, Lursen standard builds. Oshenko. New builds run $25 to $60 million. Crew of 16 to 22 living and working aboard full-time. Running costs of $2.5 to $5 million per year. A helicopter landing pad becomes standard at this size. Sometimes the helicopter is included. The helicopter has its own maintenance contract, its own pilot relationship, and its own set of international aviation regulations that the yacht's operations team manages so the owner never needs to think about them. The owner at level 4 does not arrange things. Things are arranged. The tender takes him to shore. The car is at the marina when he arrives. The restaurant has his table. The museum has arranged a private viewing after hours. None of this was requested in the moment. It was anticipated by a crew that has been managing his preferences long enough to act before being asked. At this level, the question of whether the yacht is worth the money stops being relevant because the money and the experience have separated into two different conversations that happen in different rooms. His financial team has the conversation about money. He has the conversation about where to go next. Level 5, the flagship Superyacht, 200 to 260 feet. This is where the yacht stops being a vessel and becomes a private institution. Fed ship flagship range, Lursen upper range, Amel's large builds. New builds run $60 to $130 million. Crew of 25 to 35. Running costs of $5 to $10 million per year. The build timeline at this size is 3 to 5 years from the initial commission through final sea trials. The owner spends more time in meetings with the naval architects, interior designers, and project managers during construction than he will spend on the finished vessel in the first 2 years of ownership. Every surface, every system, every material, every detail was a decision. Level 6, the mega yacht, 260 to 360 feet. This is where the vessel crosses from private luxury into sovereign infrastructure, and where the operating budget begins to approach the annual expenditure of small institutions rather than wealthy individuals. Lursen upper builds. Oshanko large range. Fedship Masterworks. New builds run $130 to $300 million. Crew 40 to 60. Running costs of $10 to $20 million per year. At this size, the yacht carries systems normally found on commercial ships or small naval vessels. Industrial water desalination producing fresh water independently of any port. Power generation sufficient to operate the vessel for weeks without external supply. Medical facilities with surgical capability and a dedicated ship's doctor on crew. Cold storage for months of provisions. Level 7, the final level beyond 360 feet. The yacht that is not described by the word yacht. Fewer than 15 private vessels of this scale have ever been built. The 590-foot Asm, the 468-foot Eclipse, the 414-foot Solaris. New builds at this scale cost $300 million to over $600 million. Crew approaching or exceeding 100 people. Running costs of $20 to $60 million per year, and in several documented cases, significantly more. At this scale, the vessel is not a private yacht by any definition that the word was designed to accommodate. It is a floating private nation. It answers to no port schedule, no marina booking, no tide table that inconveniences it. Its draft requires advanced coordination with harbor authorities in most of the world's ports. It anchors offshore where standard vessels dock. Guests arrive by tender, by helicopter, or by smaller vessel because the yacht itself is too large to approach most destinations directly. The world comes to it. It does not go to the world. Here is the honest verdict. Level 1 is where the lifestyle begins and where the running costs introduce themselves without warning. Level 2 is where the yacht becomes a vessel that requires professional management and where the charter market becomes the difference between a sustainable ownership and an unsustainable one. Level 3 is where super yacht status arrives and with it a crew that never stops working. Level 4 is where the owner's experience separates completely from the operational reality beneath it. Level 5 is where the yacht becomes a private institution built over years of decisions embedded permanently in the object. Level 6 is where sovereign infrastructure replaces recreational vessel as the correct description. Level 7 is where the owner finally owns the boat completely because everything below this level, the boat was owning him back. The mistake most people make is thinking a bigger yacht is a better yacht. It is not. A bigger yacht is a larger commitment, a more complex operation, and a more demanding relationship between the owner and the object. The men who are happiest on the water are not the ones with the largest vessels. They are the ones who found the level where the boat they own matches the life they want to live and stopped there. The boat was never the point. Finding the level where you own it rather than it owning you always was. If you want to understand the world above the brochure, above the marina, and above the price tag that the broker hands you with a smile, subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel goes there every week. The level above always exists. We are always going there.